Good afternoon. Today we are here to talk about Neil Postman's Amusing Ourselves to Death, and in particular, three questions. Question one argues that television, as a medium of entertainment, is incapable of encouraging sustained reflection on matters of fundamental importance, such as religion, politics, and education. First, I'd like to say that Postman is best known as a persistent critic of television. He ascribes vast power to it, claiming it has transformed public discourse and infiltrated our very thought process. With where technology is today compared to where it was when Postman wrote this book, I can see where he was coming from at the time. But with advancements today, we can look to the TV not just as entertainment, but we can look to it for our political news. If we want local, national, or world political news, we've got it at our fingertips in the form of our television. And not just our television, but as technology's gone, our computers, our phones, our tablets. Religion's the same way. With the advancement of cable and the number of channels you can get now, you can have multiple religious channels and watch pastors from all around the world preach. Even for those that go to some churches now, the pastor may be in one building somewhere else, and the rest of the congregation may be in another building watching from a television screen. Once again, they're not alone. They're having fellowship with other believers. In the form of education, television has gotten better with some of its programs for education, but I believe there's still no substitute for children to be in a classroom with other children learning. The second question is in regards to why does Postman feel that we should emphasize Huxley rather than Orwell in trying to understand the plight of American culture? Well, Orwell feared those who would ban books, as Huxley feared that there would be no reason to ban books, for there would be no one that would want to read one. That as technology advanced, that we would be looking more to a computer screen, a TV screen, a tablet screen, or a phone screen. With the way advancements are today, you can download a book to your computer, your tablet, or your phone, and you can take that book anywhere you go. I still believe there's no substitute for having a hard copy in your hand too. But when I travel, it's so much easier with the way technology is today to have a book downloaded and still be able to read it wherever I'm at. But one of Huxley's fears that no one would want to read a book is also there with audibles, where you don't necessarily have to read it. Somebody can just read the book to you. The third question is, how should J.P. Moreland's insight with respect to the empty self be applied to these issues, and what should be the role of the church in attempting to reverse the cultural realities laminated by postmen. This lack of maturity leaves believers without the necessary tools to impact their culture for God's kingdom, or to experience that what the Bible calls the mind of Christ, according to Moreland. The purpose of life for believers is to bring honor to God. This involves finding one's vocation and pursuing it for the good of both believers and non-believers, while in the process of being changed into a more Christ-like person. Unfortunately, our culture teaches an entirely different set of virtues. It emphasizes a self-centered, consumption-oriented lifestyle, which works directly against possessing a mature Christian mind. It also places an unhealthy emphasis on living within the moment rather than committing to long-term projects of personal discipline and learning. The Apostle Paul said that a leader in a church should be self-controlled, upright, holy, disciplined. He must hold firmly to the trustworthy message as it has been taught, so that he can encourage others by sound doctrine and refute those who oppose it. This admonition assumes a number of complex skills and a life of dedication to learning and teaching. Our leaders must be knowledgeable of the Scripture, but they must also be able to defend the Christian worldview in the marketplace of ideas common to our culture. The ability to give a response to those opposed to Christianity and to do so with gentleness and respect. In their uncompromising determination to proclaim truth, Christians must avoid the intellectual flabbiness of the larger society. They must rally against the prevailing distrust of reason and the exaltation of the irrational. Emotional self-indulgence and irrationalities have always been the enemies of the gospel, and the apostles warn their followers against this. Thank you for your time. Good day.